three questions is about a king who is trying to find out answer to three questions, and he thinks that if he gets the answers to three main questions, then he will never be able to fail in his life. So let's read the chapter to find out what it is. A king has three questions and he is seeking answers to them. What are the questions? Does the king get what he wants? Three questions. The thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew three things. These three things were: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? So there was a king who, as I said, that he thought that if he gets the answers to the three questions, those are: what is the right time to begin something? Like everything has got its own time. So at what time should he begin something? Second, which people should he listen to? So obviously a king cannot take up all the decisions. So sometimes he needs help from other people. So he is saying that I use all the people, like I take help from other people and they give me so many suggestions. So to whom should I be listening to? To whom should I basically listen to? And the third is, what is the most important thing for him to do? Yes. So what is the most important thing as a king? What should he be doing? The king therefore sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these three questions. So the king decided that he first sent his messengers to his kingdom, saying that find a person who can answer all these three questions rightly. And the person who answers these three questions rightly will be given a large sum of money as a reward. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. Many wise people. Wise means those who have got knowledge. So many wise people came to him and everyone gave their own opinion. So it means they all had different answers to his questions. In reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at its proper time. So the first question was that what is the right time to begin something. So some came and said that you can make a timetable and then follow it accordingly, such that you will not miss any of the important work to do during the day. Others said that it was impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing something. The king should notice all that was going on, avoid foolish pleasures, and always do whatever seemed necessary at that time. So some said that no, you don't need to make a timetable. Instead, you just need to take the right decision at a particular time. So it means that you don't need, you just have to avoid all the distractions and then think of what can be the solution to the given situation. Yet others said that the king needed a council of wise men who would help him act at the proper time. So some said that no, it's not necessary that you have a timetable or you need to take the decision at a particular time. Instead, you can have a council, means a group of wise people who will help you in making some rules, or who will help you in taking, or they will be giving you advices for a particular problem. This was because one man would find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others, the right time for every action. Yes, so as a king, he cannot take part in everything. He needs advice, he needs, we can say he needs certain guidance of the people, so that it becomes easy for him to handle his kingdom easily. But then others say that there were some things which could be urgent. These things could not wait for the decision of the council. In order to decide the right time for doing something, it is necessary to look into the future, and only magicians could do that. The king therefore would have to go to magicians. So some said that suddenly if there is some urgent thing, then you will not take that urgent work to the council, then the council will go and take decision or make rules, and it will take a lot of time. For example, let's take an example. If there is sudden earthquake in the kingdom, then the king will not take all the issues related to earthquake and go to the council of members and decide all. So what they say that is, go to the magician, go and find out about the future so that you know that what is going to happen in the future, and for that future actually, for the problems that are going to come into the future, you can easily make solutions for them. In their answers to the second question, some say that the people most necessary to the king were his counselors. Others say the priest, and few others chose the doctor. And yet others say that his soldiers were most necessary. So the second question was that which people should he listen to? As I said, that there were many people giving him advice, there were many people giving him suggestions. So the king was confused, to whom should I listen to? So he said, so some people can say that his counselors, that is the group of the council who are taking up rules, or who are making decisions and stuff like that, that they are the most important people. Some said the priests are most important people, and others chose the doctors, while others chose the soldiers. So we can think that if he chose the doctor, it means like suddenly if there is a disease in the kingdom, so the doctors will come into help. So like if suddenly there is we can say if there is any kind of war situation, then the soldiers will come into help. So everyone had their own different answers to the question asking that who is the most important person. To the third question, some said science, others chose fighting, and yet others religious worship. So the third question was, what is the most important thing for him to do? So the most important thing for him, so they say that first of all, that science is the most important thing, means he should have the knowledge of science. Second, he should be fighting, means he should be doing an activity like, he should be indulging in a fighting activity, and others thought that it is good if he practices religious worship. As the answers to his questions were so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. Okay, so you can see that how the different group of people answered his questions differently. So he thought that I'm not getting a satisfactory answer. That is, I'm not getting the answer that I'm happy with. So he decided that I will give no reward to anyone. So instead he thought that instead of asking all the wise men, all the counselors and everyone, I will go to a hermit, means a sage who is living in forest, because he is so wise that he can answer almost all the questions asked to him. So he decided to go to the hermit to get the answers to his questions. The hermit lived in a wood which he never left. He saw no one but simple people, and so the king put on ordinary clothes. Before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse and his bodyguard and went on alone. So, as I said, the hermit was living in forest, means he was living in woods, and this hermit never met any rich people like the kings or anyone. Instead, he only met the simple people. So the king decided that since the hermit is not meeting all the rich people and everyone, what I will do is I put on simple clothes and I will go and meet him. So as soon as they were reaching near the hermit's hut, he sent his horse and his bodyguard. He said that to his horse and his bodyguard to stay there, and he put on the simple clothes and went near to the hermit's hut. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. Okay, so the king went near the hermit's hut, and what he says, he saw that there was the hermit who was digging near his hut. He greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. So finally, the hermit, he greeted the king and he continued his work of digging. When the king saw the hermit, the hermit looked so old and weak. And as he was working, as he was digging in front of his hut, what the king saw was that the hermit was actually breathing very heavily. The king went up to the hermit and said, "I have come to ask you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important?" So the king went up to the hermit and then he again repeated all his 3 questions. And that is, what is the right time for him to begin something? Who are the most important people, or whom should he listen to? And third is that what is the most important thing that I should be doing? The hermit listened to the king but did not speak. He went on digging. "You are tired," said the king. "Let me take the spade and work in your place." So the hermit listened to the king. He listened to what the questions of the king were, but he did not speak. He did not give any answer. Instead, he continued on doing his work. So the king said that, you look tired, so just give me your spade and I will help you." "Thanks," said the hermit. "Give the king his spade." Then he sat down on the ground. So the hermit thanked the king and then he gave his spade to the king and he sat down, means the hermit sat down on the ground. When the king had dug 2 beds, he stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit gave no answer, but stood up, stretched out his hand for the spade and said, "Now you rest and let me work." When the king had already dug the 2 beds, he again stopped and repeated all his 3 questions again, which we discussed in the beginning. Again, the hermit gave no answer, but simply stood up, stretched his hand and said that, Now you have done enough work, give me the spade and I will continue on with the work." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. But the king said that, "No, let me do it." Okay, and so he continued digging. 1 hour passed, then another. The sun went down behind the trees, and at last the king stuck the spade into the ground and said, "I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my question. If you can give me no answer, tell me so, and I will return home." So slowly time went on. 1 hour passed, the second hour passed. Slowly it even started. The sun went down behind the trees. It means that the sun started setting. And at last the king got tired and he said that, "Hermit, give me the answers to my questions. And if you don't have any answers to my questions, then simply tell me so that I can go back home." "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. Suddenly the hermit said that there is someone who was running towards them. So he said that, "Here comes someone running." The king turned round and saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was flowing. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. So the king turned around. He just turned around and saw that there was a man who was running towards him, and he had his hands on his stomach, and he saw that there was blood coming out of his wound. So it means that there was a wound on his stomach. When he reached the king, he fainted and fell on the ground. Finally, he lost his consciousness and fell on the ground. The king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and found a large wound in his stomach. Finally, the king and the hermit removed the man's clothing and saw that there was a wound. There was something that hurt him on his stomach, and it was very large. The king washed and covered it with his handkerchief, but the blood would not stop flowing. So the king washed the full wound, but the blood was not stopping. Instead, it continued to flow. The king redressed the wound until at last the bleeding stopped. Finally, when he dressed the whole wound. The king continued to dress the whole wound unless and until the bleeding finally stopped. The man felt better and asked for something to drink. The king brought fresh water and gave it to him. The man finally felt better because already his wound it stopped bleeding, and so he felt that he asked the king that, can I get something to drink? The king brought him fresh water and gave it to him. By this time the sun had set and the air was cool. So finally the king brought him some water, and by this time, since it was almost sunset, there was cool air coming also. The king with the hermit's help carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The man closed his eyes and lay quiet. Finally, the king and the hermit both took the wounded man inside the hermit's hut and lay him down on a bed so that he can take rest. And finally, he slept there. The king, tired by his walk and the work he had done, lay down on the floor and slept through the night. So the king already, in the beginning of the chapter, as we saw, that he had already done a lot of work. Like he had dug all the beds, he worked for hours and hours, he helped the wounded man. So already he was tired. So what he did is that he laid down on the floor and slept through the night. He just slept on the floor next to the wounded man, and the night passed. When he awoke, it was several minutes before he could remember where he was or who the strange bearded man lying on the bed was. Suddenly, the king woke up and he forgot that who this bearded man was. So he was wondering, who is this strange man sleeping here and how did he come here? That was the thought he had. Forgive me, said the bearded man in a weak voice, when he saw that the king was awake. Finally, the bearded man saw that the king was already awake, and so he asked for forgiveness. I don't know you and have nothing to forgive you for, said the king. The king said, I don't know you, and there is nothing wrong that you have done that I have to forgive you for. You do not know me, but I know you. I am that enemy of yours who swore revenge on you because you put my brother to death and seized my property. So the bearded man said that you might not be knowing me, but I know you very well because I decided, I am an enemy of you. Means the bearded man was actually an enemy of the king. Now why was he an enemy? Because the bearded man's brother, the king killed the bearded man's brother and seized, means took his land by force. All his property was seized by the king by force. I knew you had gone alone to see that hermit, and I made up my mind to kill you on your way back home. So suddenly he just saw the king going to the hermit to meet him. And the bearded man decided that when he is going back home, that is when the king is going back home, the bearded man will attack him and kill him. But the day passed and you did not return. So I left my hiding place and I came upon your bodyguard who recognized me and wounded me. Yes. So the whole day passed, but since the king was already in the forest, he saw that the king had not yet returned, and so the bearded man decided that I will go to the king and kill him. So as he was going, he saw the bodyguard, and the bodyguard recognized the enemy and finally wounded him. I wish to kill you, and you have saved my life. Now if I live, I will serve you as your most faithful servant and will order my sons to do the same. Forgive me. Now it was the opposite actually. So when the bearded man came to the king when he was wounded, instead, because the king did not recognize him. So what happened is the king helped him with his wound. He helped in cleaning the wound and everything, which means that the king saved the life of the bearded man, means saved the life of the enemy. whereas the bearded man decided to kill him. So what he said that, "Forgive me. Now I will never harm you. Instead I will work as the most faithful servant of yours, and even my sons will even work as your faithful servants." The king was very happy to have made peace with his enemy so easily and to have won him over as a friend. The king was very happy because he saw that it was so all the issue was sorted out easily, and so the king was finally very happy that he has made peace with his enemy, and he said that, and even made his enemy his friend, means that the king made his enemy his friend. He not only forgave him but said he would send his servants and his own doctor to look after him, and he promised to give back the man his property. The king, he became so happy that he decided that, "I will send you my servants to take care of you, and I will send my doctors to look after you, who will be helping you with your wound. And whatever property of your brother I have taken, I will return it back to you." Leaving the wounded man, the king went out of the hut and looked round for the hermit. Before going away, he wished once more to get the answers to his question. So he left the wounded man in the hut, and finally he went out. So he was about to leave for his kingdom. So he decided that before going back home, I will ask the hermit once again to get the answers of my questions. The hermit was on his knees sowing seeds in the bed that had been dug the day before. The king went up to the hermit and said, "For the last time, I beg you to answer my question, wise man." So finally, the king saw the hermit, and the hermit was on his knees, and he was actually sowing seeds on the bed that the king had made the day before. And finally, he went to the hermit and said that, I come here to find the answers to my questions. Can you help me with them, please?" "You have already been answered," said the hermit, still bending down on the ground and looking up at the king as he stood before them. So the hermit said that you have already got your answers, and he was sitting down and he was looking up at the king and said that you have already got your answers. "How have I been answered? What do you mean?" The king was shocked. He was like, how come that I've got the answers to my questions? And what do you mean by that? So the hermit said, "Do you not see?" replied the hermit. "If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday and had not dug these beds for me, you would have gone away." Yes. So as we saw last, that the king pitied upon the way the hermit was working. He saw that the hermit was very tired and helped the hermit. Now, if the king had not helped the hermit, then what would have happened? He would have gone back home, and on the way back home, the enemy would have attacked him, which means that working for the hermit, helping the hermit, had saved him. Then that man would have attacked you, and you would have wished you had stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds. Yes. So the first was, what is the most important time? So the answer according to the hermit was, the most important time was when you were digging the beds, was when you were working, when you were helping me to dig the beds. And I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. So here the hermit answered all the three questions. That is, what is the most important time? And according to the hermit, the most important time was when you were digging when the king was digging the beds. Who was the most important person at that time? So according to the hermit, the most important person at that time was actually the hermit himself. And what was the most important business? And the most important business was to do him good. That is, how to do him good? By helping him. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were caring for him. Because if you had not dressed his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. Again, the hermit says that the most, like when the king and the hermit saw a wounded man running towards them, at that point of time, the most important person to the king was that wounded man. And if he had not helped him with his wound, then finally they would not become friends because the king had already saved the life of the man. So he was the most important man. So at that point of time when he saw the wounded man, so at that part of time, the most important person for the king was that wounded man. And what you did for him was your most important business. And whatever he did for him, that is cleaning his wounds and helping him to sleep inside the hermit's hut, that was the most important business. Remember then, there is only one that is important, and that time is now. Remember that there is only one time that is important, and that important time is now. So you don't need to think about the future or the past. You just have to think about what is going on presently. It is the most important time because it is the only time we have any power to act. Yes, because now is the only time that you have the power to act. If you think that right now, let's take for example that I start studying right now. So you cannot say that, oh, I wish if I had studied, or I wish I to study tomorrow or the coming day. Instead, if you have decided to do something, then that important time is now. The most important person is the person you are with at a particular moment. For no one knows what will happen in the future and whether we will meet anyone else. So according to the hermit, what is the most important person? The most important person is the person you are with at the particular time, because you don't know whether in future you will meet that person or not. The most important business is to do that person good, because we were sent into this world for that purpose alone. So the most important thing for the king to do, or for anyone else to do, is that to do him good, not to do anything bad to him. Instead, help him whenever it is needed, or to do anything good to him in any way. That is the important thing. So this story was by Leo Tolstoy, and it is a retold story, means it has been told again. And what we come to know from this chapter is that like how we saw the king and the hermit and the wounded man, everything, we also have certain question that what is the important thing to do, or what is the important time to begin something. So the important time to do anything is right now. Okay, if you think of doing anything, just begin it. And who are the important people? So the most important people are the people you are around at a particular time. If you're around your parents, you're around your friends, they are the most important people who are very important at that period of time. And what is the most important thing you should be doing? The most important thing you should be doing is help others. Like, don't do them bad. Instead, help them, do good to them. That is the most important